girl.
Hello, my beautiful Taurus. How are you doing, darling? Oh my goodness. My name is SimplyVelca, and today I'm going to be doing your weekly tarot horoscope reading, Taurus. Now, remember, it doesn't matter what you identify as, he, she, they, or them, or I guess that's the same thing, or other, darling. If these cards resonate with you, then it's meant for you, darling. Remember, though, if you do enjoy this tarot reading today, or you just enjoy my vibe, be sure to leave me a comment how it resonates with you. Give this video a like and subscribe because it does help me out a lot, Taurus, and I appreciate it when you guys do that extra step for me. But also remember, darling, put this in perspective. I'm just a man reading some tarot cards to you, honey. You know your situation better than I ever possibly could. Take the cards that resonate, leave what doesn't, because I'm not going to be offended by it whatsoever, darling. I promise you. I believe tarot cards are just here to give you some food for thought, Taurus, a perspective to consider, never making choices in your life. So let's just jump into your weekly tarot reading for September 2021, my beautiful Taurus. I'm going to be doing 3 rows for you. And then it's just going to be a general read, darling, and then we'll just go from there. If you haven't already, Taurus, be sure to check out your monthly tarot horoscope reading, which I'll leave a link to on the top right-hand corner of your screen at some point. If you would like to check that out, I do suggest for all of you guys to do that. If you feel called to checking out your sun, moon, and sun, moon, rising sign. Girl, I just have too much caffeine in me. Let's just get into this reading. Enough of all that. You know what to be doing if you want to go see other readings, honey. Let's get into this. So for your first row, and I'll show the cards, don't worry, Taurus. Knight of Swords, 6 of Cups, and this 9 of Pentacles. Second row, we have now the Tower card, 8 of Swords, as well as the Queen of Wands for you, Taurus. And then for your third and final row, we have the Hanged Man with the Justice card, as well as the 7 of Swords, darling. Girl. All right, let's get a overall Taurus. Maybe too much caffeine for me, honey. Let's get into the main energy for this week for you. What is my Taurus going to be experiencing, darling? What is the tea? So you guys have the Metamorphosis card. I'm pretty sure this is the Death card, actually. So profound change and self-awareness, darling, coming in for you. So makes a lot of sense based off of these cards, honey, for you, Taurus. So this is going to be a week of where you definitely can anticipate a lot of drastic changes for things that haven't been working out in your life, Taurus. And I'm being shown the 5 of Wands, even though I didn't pull it for you yet, you know, Taurus. So the 5 of Wands represents obstacles and overcoming obstacles, dealing with obstacles, right? I was gonna have to admit as well, Taurus, the 5 of Wands does represent like conflict with people, darling, but because of this Metamorphosis card, I'm getting this sense here it's like a nice profound change of pace and awareness that you might be developing this week in terms of how to handle this situation. Some you Tauruses may be getting inspired this week on doing a drastic change, you know, and I'm getting like very much so like that drastic change in the sense of like you know, very much so switching things up, like taking a 180, right? Is that 180? 180 is halfway through. Yeah, 180. Taurus, girl, I'm a tarot reader. I'm not no mathematician, honey. So let's get into these rows. So for this Knight of Swords, 6 of Cups, as well as this 9 of Pentacles here, it's definitely suggesting something that you've been dealing with for quite some time, right? With that 6 of Cups, darling, it's that card of like, you know, there's some history here. It's not just something that's been temporary in your life for a moment now. You've been dealing with this for some time. Knight of Swords shows to me where it's like that rapid change of pace. You know, the Knight of Swords does represent quick things happening in quick succession. And then the 9 of Pentacles represents doing things for yourself, Taurus, which I like this a lot because even based off of your last week's reading, if I'm remembering right, darling, your last week's reading, you guys were, I think I even told you guys, Taurus, to start not thinking for yourself more, because you guys have no problems doing the things for yourself. But Taurus, you guys were in this place of very wishy-washy energy, very much so like in half foot in, half foot out. And so I do feel as if for you guys this week, Taurus, something's definitely going to be coming up here during this week that's going to be shifting things in your life. That's really going to be changing your perspective, especially because of that Hanged Man there. So definitely anticipate some drastic changes in your life. I know this is sounding a little bit ooky spooky of a reading right off the bat to darling Taurus, but I promise you I feel pretty positive about this, right? And then we get into the second row, girl, with this Tower card, this 8 of Swords, as well as this Queen of Wands here. Now, with this Tower card, I like this a lot because This lets me know, let me switch this back. And the Eight of Swords being the focal point of this energy, which means you're breaking out. This week is definitely in the sense of removing the constraints that you have going on in your life, Taurus. And so I like this Tower card here. Because this Tower card, Taurus, is under your Knight of Swords, this shows to me like very much so a shattering of perspective that you are going through this week. But this perspective shattering, that we'll say, darling, is definitely going to be freeing the constraints from you that you feel limited by from the Six of Cups energy, right? Because the Eight of Swords is under your Six of Cups. And so this could very much so be like removing the constraints that you have towards a relationship, towards a job, right? I just get this newfound sense of freedom for you. And especially with the Queen of Wands, Taurus, being under your Nine of Pentacles, this showcases to me, again, very much so doing things for yourself, very much so. It's like you're putting yourself first, finally, Taurus. But, it's kind of interesting, though, like when you think about it, right, Taurus? Because as you guys start taking these actions, that's what I do definitely see you guys doing towards that's like for good for you. It just upheaves a lot. There's a lot of upheaval, a lot of other sources, a lot of other moving parts, if that makes sense for you, Taurus. So it's just interesting to me that once my beautiful Tauruses start doing things that are good for them, like it starts inconveniencing or like bothering other energies that are around you. So could be a case of Taurus where it's like, a lot of energies were just taking you for granted for quite some time, darling, right? Whatever this tea is, it's just interesting to me how it's like this dynamic is, Taurus. And so then we get into this third final row here with the Hanged Man, the Justice card, and the Seven of Swords. This is what I was talking about, that shift in perspective, right? Shift in perspective, definitely with that Justice card here. The Libra card, darling, I like to point it out, is definitely a sense of justice coming in with that Seven of Swords of an energy that you were feeling pretty distrustful of. I don't want to say you were feeling distrustful of. This just gives me the sense of where you had a lot on your plate, Taurus, and you just weren't receiving any help. I like to use the analogy, especially with the Seven of Swords, is where it's like the Seven of Swords is an energy, Taurus, where it's like you just go grocery shopping and you're bringing all the groceries in and you're not receiving any help. So it's like you're being like, well, I guess I have to do this all on myself. I have to bring all these groceries in with no help, even though everyone else in this house has no problem eating the groceries that I buy, right? I'm feeling a little bit too emotionally invested in that example, darling. So anyways, yeah, it's like this sense of where you're fed up, being like, you know what, girls, y'all are taking me for granted. I'm done buying groceries for everybody. I'm gonna just start getting my own groceries, right? It's just like a nice healthy dose of justice. The Seven of Swords being under the Queen of Wands and this Nine of Pentacles showcases to me for you, Taurus, where it's just like you're done trying to live other people's lives or trying to help out other people because you're realizing, Taurus, that no one else is like trying to help you out, Taurus. So you're just like, you know what? Well, screw it. If no one's gonna help me out, then I'm gonna have to start making time for myself, right? Justice card coming in to remove under your Eight of Swords and the Six of Cups. So that's where the karma comes in. Whatever it is that you've been feeling slighted by, underappreciated, devalued by. Hanged Man coming in under your Tower card and that Nine of Swords, which I was saying before, Taurus, makes a lot of sense just because I feel as if like perspective change, right? This Hanged Man is a complete change of perspective, different approach on everything, right? So I like this really a lot for you, Taurus. It's letting me, you guys are definitely on the right path. Let's start unpacking this through different rows now. So with this Knight of Swords and diagonal, and the Knight of Swords, the Eight of Swords, as I'm just now noticing all these swords cards, Knight of Swords, Eight of Swords, and Seven of Swords coming in here. The main constraints that have been slowing you down, girl, that voice crack, girl, slowing you down, really keeping you where you weren't able to do as much growing on your own specific path, I feel, Taurus. This is what is definitely being addressed this week, confirming this. Nine of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, and this Hanged Man here with the change of pace for you is where, again, I feel like you guys are going to be making more time just for yourself. Maybe you had a little bit of free time during X, Y, and Z parts of your day, but instead of doing things for yourself, you would check in on other people and be like, hey, do you need help? What can I help you with here? I just heard the word emotional support, so I don't know if you've been like the emotional support for everyone else and no one has been checking in on you, Taurus. Feels as if that is the case, I feel as if you're kind of just making yourself no longer available. It's like you're realizing, being like, oh, none of you guys ever actually care about what it is I'm going through unless you want something from me, right? So very interesting in this way. Knight of Swords, Tower card, and this Hanged Man here. Yeah, this is just very much so like a nice change of pace, like for you, Taurus. So let's get to some clarifiers. I don't feel like I need to unpack these rows any further. I just want to get into some clarifiers. So starting this out, we have the Strength card coming in with the Knight of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles coming in under your Six of Cups, and then the, girl, can I hold these cards? Too much caffeine, darling, too much caffeine. Page of Swords clarifying your Nine of Pentacles here. So this is definitely something, Taurus, I feel as if you kind of been building up to this point. You know, some of you guys may have been building up the courage to start taking this final step. So there may have been like some type of last straw, you know, this one final thing, the final nail in the coffin where you're just like, you're just fed up and be like, you know what, I'm done, right? And it may have just been like a situation where it's just like finally like you were just done carrying the groceries, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm gonna not keep going into that analogy in case it gets confusing for y'all, but I just feel as if there is something that was just like your breaking point and being like, you know what? It's like you're putting up the middle finger to everybody. It's just like, girl, you're just like, screw all of you guys. If you ain't gonna help me, you ain't gonna give me that equal, you know, tit for tat, darling, then you're not part of my life. Clarifying your Tower card, Justice card, darling. Come on, what did I tell you? The Hermit card, clarifying your Eight of Swords. And then we have the Ace of Wands, clarifying your Queen of Wands. Powerful, actually, Taurus, because you guys are definitely delving into your own personal interest. I do feel as if you guys are becoming a little bit more reclused. Not a bad thing, Taurus. But definitely justice is definitely being served. Karma is getting back at whatever the situation is, whether it's a job or whether, especially if it's like a person or persons, because I feel like if it is about people, it's a multitude of people. Like I feel like it's just like a collection of just like a bunch of like underwhelming people in your life, or just a bunch of people that all will just taking you for granted, Taurus, if that makes sense. And that's why you would have that hermit energy, because you're just like, you know what? I'm just done with people. You don't want to deal with any people anymore, because it's just like at this point, you want to just delve into what interests you, what drives you. You probably, Taurus, will be at this point where you don't even want to like post on social media for a while, just because you know like people are going to be trying to check in on you, or they'll take this as a time being like, oh, Taurus is posting on social media. Let me go bother them, right? I feel like you're going to be just playing it back for a while, Taurus. Clarifying your Hanged Man is the Judgment card. And then the Sun card, clarifying your Justice card. Girl, you got so much major arcana, Taurus. And then the Nine of Cups, clarifying your Seven of Swords. So this is the really, like, and this is a pretty clear-cut message, Taurus, where you are doing exactly what you need to be doing. Confirming as well, like, you guys are exactly on the path that you need to be taking. Really, at this time, Taurus, the people that end up leaving your life, or I don't even feel like it's going to be an act of like leaving your life, Taurus. I feel like you're just going to be phasing out a lot of things in your life that are no longer serving you. And it's just like, it's not like you want this to necessarily happen with these people. It just feels like this sense of where you might just be putting them to like a test and be like, you know what, let me wait and see how long it takes for these people to reach out to me. Let me see how long it takes for these people to even notice my disappearance, if that makes sense, Taurus. Because something got you to this point, Taurus. Something made you realize, being like, you know what? I'm done not being appreciated. And so it's just interesting, Taurus. So we're going to leave these cards here to Miss Aretha Franklin and Barbara Walters, darling. And now we're going to be getting into, Taurus, your spirit guide and ancestral messages for this week, for September 2021, darling. Let's see what tarot has to say, relaying the messages from your spirit guides and ancestors, Taurus. Let's see what's up, darling. Let's see what's up. Girl. These cards are just fighting back with me, darling. Three of Pentacles coming in here with the Queen of Swords, as well as the Eight of Wands coming in here. So definitely I see a lot of movement, and definitely in terms of your stability, in terms of, you know, the Three of Pentacles is a card of like contracts, collaborative energies. So definitely I see a lot of movement for my Tauruses, whether it's in terms of financial or just like some type of social commitment. Queen of Swords, I always say, is like the card of setting up strong boundaries. And I feel like that's the energy you're exuding right now. And so with the Eight of Wands, I say Eight of Wands personally, I know most tarot readers probably wouldn't agree with me personally, but girl, not my business. But I see the Eight of Wands as like a sense of claiming your power. You know, you're trying out each wand, seeing what makes you wand. I'm just now noticing. you're lifting up each wand, getting a feel for what drives you, what inspires you. And so that's why I say it's like a card of like claiming your empowerment, but it also is a card of movement as well. So let's get some clarifiers on this, Taurus. But right off the bat, I would just say like you guys are definitely moving. Like your dynamic is definitely shifting, Taurus, in regards to relations that you have in your life or commitments that you have currently in your life. Yeah, Four of Wands here. Definitely like a change of plans in regards to like what you want to take with you in the long haul, what you plan on investing, right? With that Seven of Pentacles, you guys are definitely changing up what it is you're nurturing, what it is you're tending to. You don't want to be feeding energy into, these plants are not giving you any type of fruit, darling. It's just like, you know what? I've been giving you food and I've been giving you water, darling. I've been giving you all that plant nutrition, darling, but you're not giving me any type of fruit. You're not giving what it needs to be given, darling. And so you're fed up with it. Yeah. Five of Wands. What was it? Didn't I say earlier in your reading, Taurus, that I was seeing the Five of Wands for you? And so you have the Five of Wands under clarifying that Eight of Wands. So yeah. Taurus, it just feels like, and then the Hanged Man in the back of the deck. Come on, darlings. Come on, darlings. It doesn't, the story just writes itself, Taurus. I don't feel like I need to repeat these messages because I feel like you guys get the point. But your main messages from your spirit guides is where you really need to just make it a point to be exuding the Queen of Swords energy, Taurus. There's definitely this sense of where you need to reevaluate the people that you're investing into, the things that you're nurturing, and making sure, Taurus, that the things, the relationships, the just all facets of your life, Taurus, that what it is that you're nurturing is actually going to be bringing some sort of value to you as well, right? That Five of Wands, clarifying the Eight of Wands, it just really showcases to me, Taurus, like what it is that you've been nurturing currently just isn't, it just feels more so like as a nuisance rather than anything. So you guys are trying to find like a new path with a lot less resistance, if that makes sense. I was just being shown some names that start with the word letter T. I don't really feel like going into that because I feel like I need to like be in like a completely different state of mind to be channeling those specific names. But if you are dealing with someone with a like T in their name, maybe there's a sign for you in here. But take that with a grain of salt, darling. I could just be really hyped up on some caffeine, honey. So now, Taurus, let's see how people are perceiving you at this time. Let's see how people are perceiving my beautiful Tauruses this week. I'm just so happy for you guys, Taurus. This is such a nice energy to be breaking this week into. So we have the Temperance card coming in here, the Four of Pentacles, as well as the Death card. Girl, come on, Taurus. Come on now, darling, right? Come on now, darling. So you guys are really, like, what was I saying? The Temperance card is the card of, like, having one foot in, one foot out. And now I know in this deck, I actually feel like I need to pull out in another deck now, Taurus, so you can actually see what I mean by the Temperance card. Because the Temperance card normally will showcase a sense of where, you know, it's a card of patience, Taurus, but it's also like in the artwork usually will always showcase, just not in the one I'm using, of course. That's how it always ends up being, is like where the individual Taurus will have one foot into the water and one foot out. So you already, it's kind of been like a boiling point. Like, well, it's been something that's been building up, rather, I'll say, Taurus, for you. And so this definitely doesn't catch me by surprise. I feel like this is more so just this affirming message for my Tauruses to be like, no, yeah, cut things off, right? Because, you know, I feel like especially for some of you guys, you might be in your head being like, oh, am I being too impatient? You know, you're just giving, this is how you become like a format for some of these people, Taurus, if I can be so blunt. You know, some people are just not valuing you. Am I really, girl, I can't find it right now in this deck. It don't matter. You'll just have to take my word for it, Taurus. You guys are just at this point now where you're changing up your investments. And so I feel like this is more so just as an affirming sign, Taurus. I don't feel like I even need to get any clarifiers of where you guys are changing your investments. You already had an idea or an iota of mind of what it is you wanted to be shifting into. You're shifting gears definitely. So just take this tarot message as an affirming sign to keep doing you, darling, right? Taurus, like you guys, I really don't feel like I need to give any type of insight to, any type of pep talk to, because y'all already know what y'all need to be doing. You already know, Taurus, what is up, darling. So you just continue what it is that you're doing, and I'm gonna just sit back here and celebrate you for that, Taurus. So I love you so much, Taurus. Hopefully you found some cards that resonate with you in this weekly reading today. If you want to book a private personal reading with me, my website's linked down below, simplyvelca.com, next to my social medias, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that just being Simply Velca, honey. And yeah, I will be connecting with you sometime in the near future, Taurus. Be sure to check out your monthly tarot reading, and I will talk to you later. Bye, girl.